So today I want to teach you 26 fantastic English idioms that you need to know. I'm going to share them with you through a story about my friend Jack's new job. So all of these idioms are related to business English and are useful to use at work or in professional conversations. The best news about today's lesson is that we've created an awesome quiz to help you test what you learned during this video and make sure that these idioms stick in your mind so that you can remember them and you can even start using them naturally yourself. Completing the quiz is going to give you some confidence about which idioms you know and you can start using confidently when you speak, and which ones you need to learn a little bit more about. But before you do the quiz, let's get to the story and learn about these common English idioms together. This is my mate Jack. She recently started working as the creative director of a well-known marketing agency. She was thrilled to get the position. Not only does it pay well, but the company has a great reputation across the industry. Jack is the type of person who likes to put her best foot forward. She takes great pride in her work and in her performance. She assumed that as an established company, there would be robust systems in place to allow her to hit the ground running and work hand in glove with her new team. Jack likes to put her best foot forward. This means that she tries hard to make a good impression. If you're meeting someone for the first time, or if you're having a job interview or starting a new job, these are all moments where we try to put our best foot forward and make a good impression. Jack was expecting to hit the ground running, meaning that she expected to begin her new role and her work with lots of energy and enthusiasm and make lots of progress from the moment that she started. And if a person or a team works hand in glove with someone else or another team, then they work very closely and very effectively with them. But unfortunately for Jack, she was thrown in the deep end on day one. She quickly realized that the real talent in the team had jumped ship after her predecessor quit. So she'd been left with a team of juniors, many of whom were still learning the ropes themselves. You might have heard this one before. If someone is thrown in the deep end, they're placed in a challenging situation without preparation. So this often happens when we start a new job or a new role, and we don't have much support or guidance from anyone else with more experience. So we need to figure out how to do things on our own. The talented and experienced team members jumped ship, meaning they left the company. But it's not quite as simple as that. Often when we use this idiom, it's because the people who remain feel abandoned. In this case, Jack felt abandoned by the more experienced team members who left. It would have been much easier for her if she was starting her new role with their support. And the junior team who remained were not very experienced at all. They were still learning the ropes, learning how to do their jobs well. This idiom can be used by anyone, not just juniors. Anyone at any level when they're starting a new job, when they've got to learn the systems or the procedures that a new company uses to operate smoothly. So we can all be learning the ropes when we start a new role. The first thing she did was ask her team to brief her on the status of their current projects. To her dismay, she learned that the team had been in a holding pattern for the last few weeks, waiting for her to start. 3 of the 6 deadlines had blown out. 3 of their biggest clients were complaining, and things were getting out of hand. The team had been cutting corners to try and get work done, and this really rubbed her up the wrong way. A holding pattern is the route followed by a plane above an airport while it's waiting to land, while it's circling around and it's waiting for permission to land. This is called a holding pattern. And we use it to talk about human behavior when we're waiting for something to happen before we do something new or different. So Jack's team were waiting until she started her new role before taking any new or different action. They were waiting for her. And things were getting out of hand, meaning that they were out of control or impossible to manage. So the situation was out of control. The team were cutting corners, meaning that they weren't doing the best job. They were trying to do their job in the easiest, the fastest, or it can also mean the cheapest way, and usually by ignoring the rules or leaving something out, not doing it quite as good as they should. And if someone rubs you up the wrong way, they annoy you. Can you think of anyone at your workplace who rubs you up the wrong way? Tell me about it down in the comments. I want to see you practicing this idiom, all right? Use it in a sentence, but best not to use their actual name. Anyone who has worked with Jack knows she runs a tight ship. Now that she had her foot in the door at this agency, she could see that nobody else was going to turn this ship around. So she rolled up her sleeves and got to work. Jack runs a tight ship. This means she runs her team in a very strict and efficient way. And in a professional context, this is usually a good thing, to be very organized and to be very efficient. But if you are working for or under someone who runs a very tight ship, it might feel a little bit restrictive or controlling at times. Oh, and Jack has her foot in the door. That means that she's taken the first step with a new opportunity, her job. And we often use this idiom when you start something new, but your intentions are bigger. So you hope that this first job or this first step will lead to more opportunities in the future. And I'll give you an example. You might take a job as a secretary at a law firm, hoping that one day, when you finish your studies, you'll be offered a better job opportunity. And that's because you've got your foot in the door. Your foot is partway into a new opportunity. Jack is going to turn the ship around, and that means she's going to make a significant change or improve a failing situation. And it usually takes quite a bit of effort. And I said that Jack was going to roll up her sleeves. Why? This is an extremely common idiom that is used to motivate and to prepare for hard work. Like if you were going to go out into the garden or you were going to do the dishes, you would roll up your sleeves and get them out of the way to make it easier to do your work. And that's where this idiom comes from. On her second day, she called a meeting with the general manager and cut to the chase. If they wanted her to stay in this role, she was going to implement drastic changes to get the team and the company back on track. And she wanted to feel confident that he had her back. And Jack cut to the chase, meaning that when she spoke to the general manager, she was direct and her meaning was very clear. She wanted to get her team back on track, working as they should be, working on the right things and making progress. That's on track. And it's because at this moment, Jack believed that her team was off track, not doing the right things. So you can use on track or off track to explain if something is progressing in the way that you want it to or not. Jack wanted to know that the general manager had her back, and that simply means that she had his support. She wanted to feel confident that he would support her and that he would protect her if there were any problems or disagreements about this issue in the future. She made it clear that the existing culture of 80-hour work weeks was unacceptable, and that continuing in this way would land them in hot water. Although she didn't want to rock the boat, she could see that her team was exhausted and something had to give. Oh no, you do not want to be in hot water. This means that you're in trouble or you're in a difficult situation. And often it's because you've broken the rules, you've done something wrong. Have you ever been in hot water? Jack did not want to rock the boat. She didn't want to cause trouble or disrupt the way that the team was operating. That was not her original intention, but because Jack is planning on making some major changes to the way that the team operates, she probably will rock the boat. She might make a few people annoyed or disgruntled because she's going to change the situation. Hopefully it's just for the short term until they see that it's for the best. Something has to give is an idiom that we use to say that a situation can't continue how it is. Something needs to change. And if it doesn't, there's going to be a negative outcome. But it's important to note that we are not being specific about what needs to change. We're just saying something. There's lots of different things going on. Something needs to change. We're not saying exactly what it is that needs to change. The general manager told her they were doing everything by the book, that no one was asked to work overtime, and he didn't realize there was a problem. But it was clear to Jack that the behavior was being normalized from the top down. If someone does something by the book, it means they follow the rules or the instructions strictly. The general manager was trying to explain that they were not doing anything wrong. They weren't doing anything illegal. They were following the rules of employment law. Now, he could have also said another idiom that means something similar. He could have said that what they were doing was above board, meaning it was legal, there was nothing dodgy or shady going on. Above board. Long story short, Jack really had her work cut out for her. She spent the first few weeks running around, putting out fires, and trying to win over her new team. But I've got to hand it to her. She could have easily thrown in the towel, but she stuck with it and has earned the unwavering support of her team and the board. Long story short is such a useful idiom to learn. You can use it to summarize or shorten a story to quickly get to the main point. So I'll give you an example. I was late to the airport because my car broke down and then I had to wait for a tow truck and it took ages to arrive. And anyway, long story short, I've had a long night. You heard that Jack spent the first 2 or 3 weeks, few weeks of her job putting out fires. Now, these aren't literal fires. The office isn't burning, but we use this idiom to explain that someone is dealing with urgent problems. And we use fires in the plural form because there are usually several problems happening at the same time, and it's quite frantic or it's quite difficult to try and get all of these different fires under control. And when I said, I've got to hand it to her, I've got to hand it to Jack, I was using this idiom in admiration because I can see the effort that she's put in to get this situation under control. And our last idiom is one of my favorites because for me, it always creates such a vivid visual. To throw in the towel means to give up, to admit defeat, often not because you want to, but because you're very frustrated about the situation. You throw in the towel. So, you just learned 26 business English idioms in context. But the real question is, can you remember them? Can you use them accurately yourself? Let's find out. Click the link down in the description to complete the quiz that we've made for you. It's completely free, and when you finish, we'll send you a report card with some tips to help you remember and practice using these idioms yourself so that they stick in your mind forever. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Make sure you let me know down in the comments if you did, and tell me, what was your favorite idiom that you learned today? Try and use it in a sentence yourself to make sure that you know how to use it. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next video.